Jorge Masvidal. I mean, the guy, fought on the first installment of Fight Island. Seemed like you guys wanted him to fight Colby Covington, and then it's just kind of like stalled. We haven't heard much about it. What's going on with Jorge?
It's not that it's stalled. I mean, when we start talking about making fights, making big fights are a lot harder than I think the media and the public realize. And, I believe that fight will happen. I just don't know when yet.
Do you think Khabib is coming back? I know Dana is going to meet with him to try to, use his powers of persuasion. What do you think is going to happen there?
I think that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to try to persuade him to fight. I think when you talk about people like Khabib Nurmagomedov, I asked Khabib once, I said, how much money would it take for me to be rich in Dagestan? He said, $5 million and you're rich for the rest of your life. Khabib has much more than $5 million.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much the money is going to be the thing that draws him back into the octagon. I think it's going to have to be, Dana's going to have to tap into something within his spirit to try to get him to fight again, because he's one of those guys that doesn't need as much, and he makes so much money outside of the octagon at this point that it would have to be something that would drive him competitively to come back and fight, because I don't think it's going to be money that makes him go back to the octagon.
At the quarantine hotel, getting ready to fly to Abu Dhabi. It gets boring, but there's something that's going to make the day go a little faster. It's St. Sunday, baby! AK's back! AK's back!
All right, here we are in Vegas. 3 in the morning on Monday. It's time to go to Abu Dhabi out of Fight Island. We're heading off to the plane. 6 o'clock flight. Got my man John Anik, Paul Felder.
What's up, boys?
Road Warriors ready to rock. DC with the Krispy Kremes! Krispy Kreme!
Nobody in the back. I know nobody in the back,
DC's in training. DC's training. Putting on weight to make it great. All right, the fun's begun.
I bought them for everybody. Yeah! That was on my dime. That was on my dime.
That's the way we roll at UFC.
Zhang Weili, who's she going to fight? When's it going to be? Where is it going to be? Do you got any information on her?
Yeah, we're working on her too. Obviously, the fight that everybody wants to see is her and Rose. Hopefully we can get that done. If not, the next one in line would probably be Carla Esparza. So we're looking at doing that fight this year and in Asia.
And in Asia, okay.
Yeah.
So you answered kind of one of my earlier questions, is that you are looking around, potentially.
Yeah.
And that one obviously is because it's Weili. If it wasn't Weili, you wouldn't be pursuing that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
They want him to return in March against Francis Ngannou. I know they had some talks last week, didn't finalize a deal. Hearing now that they're targeting 2 pay-per-views in March. One of them would be headlined by Stipe versus Francis. The other headlined by Izzy versus Jan Blachowicz. Brett Okamoto reporting that Megan Anderson versus Amanda Nunes booked for that March 6 card. So we've got a lot of big fights coming up with a lot of big names.
So I really tore both ACLs.
Wow.
I had that fight in March, and I did want some time off after that. And I guess that's what happened, I was training, took a bad shot, and my left ACL just kind of, I felt it as soon as my leg bent all the way backwards. So after I had the surgery on that one, repaired it, going through the rehab, 3 months later, blew out my right ACL. I just kind of tripped over a cord on that one. And I guess just from all the years of fighting and everything, it was already ready to go. And going through both knee surgeries.
Wow. Wait, so when was the first knee surgery?
In May. May 1st was the first date. The second date was August 15th.
Oh my gosh. And I've heard that if you tear one ACL, unfortunately, there's a good chance that you'll tear the other because you're overcompensating. Do you think that's what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened with the second one. I was just overcompensating for it. And honestly, I was trying to like come back too fast, you know, like the doctors and everything was telling me it's going to be 6 months minimum before I'm able to move around like normal. So I was putting a lot of pressure on my right leg to kind of take over for the left. And that, I guess they set me back down, you know, by blowing out the second one. But now I'm at the stage where it's healed enough to where I just got done with a run right now. So I'm healed enough that I can start running, and hopefully I should be able to start fighting again soon.
So realistically, when do you think you could come back?
So they telling me I can start sparring again, maybe late January. So that means I'll probably try and go into a training camp in February, fight in maybe April or May, something like that.
I think there's a story. I mean, there's a storyline with you and Izzy, obviously, because of the last fight.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's still some bad blood on your side. Has he responded to that? Like, does he respond back to you? I haven't noticed, but I've heard some of the stuff before this interview that you've said to him or about him recently on TMZ, actually a couple days ago, saying you called him a bullshit champ. What are your thoughts on him and getting at that fight and trying to have a better fight than before?
Yeah, I think like I've met him a few times. I met him. Well, we met in the cage, and then I met him a few times outside, and I had a few encounters with him. And he's just and then what I don't like about him, he just goes out and lies to the media all the time, you know. And then all of a sudden now he thinks, man, like he's chasing. I don't know how you can explain. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I just don't like his style at all. And like, I don't like the way he cares. And I'm not the guy like, oh, you know, not because he's a good guy. Just, he's not real. Like, he's not a real guy. Like, I feel like he just wants to. He's chasing that kind of like, oh, I want to be great status, which is understandable, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And now he's coming off a good performance. Yes, okay.
You got to be impressed with his performance against Costa. I mean, he definitely his striking is definitely one of the best in the division, and you know, his fight IQ and strategy is definitely there. So he's getting better and better and better for sure. I guess what you're trying to say is more he's carrying himself outside of the ring in a way that you don't feel is accurate as far as the way he plays the game.
But in the ring too, like people don't remember, like his fight before this was one of the shittest title fight that's ever been done.
I've seen the social media, but my conversations with Conor, I know when the real Conor's here and the other Conor's here. And believe me when I tell you, the real Conor is here.
Can you give us an example? Have you guys?
Well, I'll tell you right now. I mean, and this is one of the things that I've always given this kid so much credit for. If something happens to Dustin Poirier, he is the Conor McGregor right now that does not give a who we put in that fight on that night. Yeah. He's that guy right now. You know, there isn't going to be any. Oh well, what about this guy or that guy? He's going to be like, who's ready? Who you got? I'm going to the gym, tell me who's showing up on Saturday. He's that guy right now. Yeah. That Conor McGregor is back. And yeah, you know, you said it. Conor goes like this. Conor is right here, right now.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me of, it was a 2015 Conor, you know, where Aldo's ribbed. He goes back to bed and says, tell me who I'm fighting when I wake up. It's that Conor.
That's the guy we're dealing with right now on every level. You know, he's hitting me up and asking me questions about the layout of the arena, the walk-in, you know, all these type of things that he's interested in knowing about right now. You know, he's all in on this thing. If you are a Conor McGregor fan and you love everything about Conor McGregor fights, don't miss this one. I know when the real Conor's here and The other Conor's here. And believe me when I tell you, the real Conor is here. He is the Conor McGregor right now that does not give a I'm going to the gym, tell me who's showing up on Saturday. He's that guy right now.
I like it.